The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. A handful of senatorial aspirants filed their certificates of candidacy today, ahead of the 5 p.m. deadline. To give us updates, we now have Maricel Halili. She's reporting to us live from the COC filing venue in Pasay City. Good afternoon, Maricel. What's the latest?
Hi, Charles. Some prominent personalities in politics have already shown up this morning to file their certificates of candidacy. A handful of them are from the opposition. Senator Laila de Lima has sought re-election under the slate of Vice President Leni Robredo. De Lima filed her candidacy for senator through a representative. Also supporting Robredo is former Senator Antonio Trillanes, who filed a COC for a comeback at the Senate. He has been vocal in showing his support for VP Robredo. But he decided to follow the decision of Magdalo Party to run for a position in the upper chamber. Another is Senator Pangilinan, who filed a COC for Vice President as Robredo's running mate. Pangilinan was also wearing a pink ribbon, but unlike Robredo, who's running as an independent, Pangilinan will remain under the Liberal Party. Re-electionist Gatchalian has also filed a COC for senator under the Nationalist People's Coalition. Recall that Gatchalian expressed his interest to be the running mate of Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte. But now that he is gunning for re-election, Gatchalian says his legislative agenda will focus on education. Also under the slate of Senator Ping Lacson is former Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol, who is also gunning for the Senate. Piñol said he cannot run under the administration's slate because of policy differences he has with the current economic team. Still, he insisted that he remains friends with President Duterte. Broadcaster and former Vice President Noli de Castro also filed a COC for senator this morning under the party of Isko Moreno. De Castro is eyeing a return to politics after an 11-year hiatus. Some interesting personalities also showed up to the COC filing venue, like Percival de Guzman, who was vying for presidency. He said he did not put a photo on his COC because, quote, the Holy Spirit said so. Arlene Butay, on the other hand, is very eager to win a position in the government, attempting to file COCs for 3 positions: Vice President, Senator, and Vice Governor of her province. Of course, this is not allowed based on the rules of the COMELEC. Charles, we're also expecting Presidential Chief Legal Counsel to file his certificate of candidacy for senator this afternoon. But up until this moment, we're still waiting for the final decision of Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte if she will push through with the presidential bid. Charles?
Thanks for those updates, Mase. That was Maricel Halili reporting live from Pasay. Isambayan convener Brother Armin Luistro believes that some COC filers might withdraw their candidacies in the coming months. On One News' The Big Story, Luistro says that over the weekend, following the COC filing deadline, candidates will reflect and start to assess their chances of winning based on the lineup of other aspirants who have also filed for candidacy. Luistro believes that some aspirants may even slide down and decide to withdraw from the race in the next few months.
Like all political games, I think this week is the most difficult because people are just really looking at how things will develop, and I think they are calibrating. This weekend will be the most important discernment for all of the candidates. They will be looking at how things go and how people responded to the Vice President, and then the last day, they'll be looking for merong bang bagong candidate. No? So, things will change.
But what's next for Isambayan now that Robredo has filed her COC as an independent? Well, Isambayan convener and retired Supreme Court Justice Antonio Carpio says the opposition coalition will now consolidate their senatorial lineup. He admits, however, that there is a smaller chance to unite the opposition at this point. And Carpio also advised the opposition supporters to expand their reach and to talk to other voters outside what he referred to as the echo chamber on social media.
Of course, the unity talks will continue, but of course, it's now getting harder and harder to unify everybody. But we take comfort in the very warm reception by the public of Lenny's declaration that she was running.
Opposition coalition Isang Bayan is not entering the local elections. This was confirmed by coalition convener and retired Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio in an interview with the chiefs. Carpio said that they will not field local candidates and instead focus only on campaigning for their presidential, vice presidential, and senatorial candidates.
We have decided that we will not be supporting local candidates. We will only support a slate that include from the president to the senators, because we are a broad coalition and we cannot possibly mediate or force our coalition members to agree at the local level. It's very difficult.
Apple now wants iPhone to control more of your car through its CarPlay interface. This is the tech giant is looking to expand its reach to within vehicles. More of that story in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Well, Apple shares are higher on the day by more than 1%. And we did talk about and are talking about how it is sending markets higher today. This morning, Bloomberg reported on Apple's newest car plans. The company is working on technology that would allow drivers to use iPhones to control the air conditioning, seats, and radio, among other functions. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman broke the news, and he joins us now from L.A. Hey, Mark, what else do we know about Apple's plans here? And then really help us draw a distinction between what analysts think Apple could be doing with cars and then this news that you broke this morning.
So back in 2014, as you know, Apple launched CarPlay, right? Initially, it didn't get much fanfare, but it has really become a must-have for many new car buyers. It lets you plug your phone into your car and replace your car's built-in operating system, built-in software in the infotainment center, with an Apple interface for handling calls, Apple Music, third-party apps, calendar, basically most things that you can do on your iPhone. What's missing from CarPlay, however, is the ability to control built-in main functions in your car, whether that's gaining access to your speedometer or fuel clusters, gaining access to the AC, the radio, locks, anything else that you can do with your car, right, that you have to do outside of CarPlay, that you have to jump out of CarPlay to do. So what Apple wants to do, it wants to integrate all of your car's main controls into its own Apple interface as well, meaning you can remain in CarPlay as your main car operating system and software really at all times.
And Mark, so this is really the biggest push by Apple into that car space since we've seen back with CarPlay in 2014. But is this going to be a hit with the automakers? Are they going to accept these new features?
You're absolutely right. I strongly believe this would be Apple's biggest push, in 7 years into the car. The question is, like you said, will automakers want to implement this system, codenamed Ironheart? Well, I think it really depends on what consumers want. So over the past few years, Apple has launched several new features outside of CarPlay for the car. That's Car Key. You can use your iPhone or Apple Watch to unlock your car. That's additional CarPlay screens for your digital instrument clusters in cars like the Mach-E or some of the latest Audis. There's other functionality as well for implementing better mapping information for chargers in electric cars, right? Really, those have only been picked up by a few car makers, BMW, Volkswagen, but of course there's hundreds of different cars, so that adoption has been extraordinarily slow compared to the adoption in over 600 models of CarPlay. So the question is, will consumers push car makers hard enough to implement this new technology? Do car makers really want to lose control of the interface for those main car functions to Apple, which, by the way, is building its own car? Right? So there is this sort of fear there from car makers that not only are they going to allow Apple into their current models, but then Apple's going to try to put them out of business with their own car models further into the future.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to know specifically about Apple's car plans and how this changes what you're thinking about Apple's car plans, especially in the context of the news that we got last week when it came to Lordstown Motors and the fact that Foxconn, a huge customer of Apple's, or I should say Apple's a huge customer of Foxconn's, actually bought that plant in Ohio.
Yeah, I don't think this initiative changes anything related to the Apple Car plan. In fact, I think in some ways it's an indicator that the car is full steam ahead. If you recall, before the Apple Watch came out, they started launching a bunch of new services for the iPhone related to health to prepare the groundwork for that, right? If you recall, before the HomePod and other Apple smart home devices started to be released a few years ago, they released HomeKit, really planting their feet into the smart home space with the correct algorithms and such. Ahead of the AR glasses and mixed reality headset we're going to be getting soon, right? They integrated AR into the iPhone. Now it's the car's turn. They're starting to lay the groundwork there. So I think this is even further proof of their ambitions in the automotive space.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News.
Yes, friendship, salamat. Bye-bye.
GDP! Happy Friday!
Hello.
Parang stressed si Seka. Yan, parang ganyan yung effect ng face mask ni Dildebera.
Sorry.
You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. A united Robredo-Pangilinan tandem faced the people this morning to lay down their plans and reasons for running in the 2022 elections. Pangilinan said that they initially had no intentions of seeking higher posts, but they heeded each other's call to continue serving the people. To give us the latest on this, we have Gerard de la Peña now joining us live from Quezon City. Good afternoon, Gerard. Could you tell us more about what the Robredo-Pangilinan tandem had to say to the Filipino people?
Well, Charles, this is the first time that both Vice President Leni Robredo and Senator Kiko Pangilinan faced the media after filing their certificates of candidacy. As we all know, VP Robredo already filed her certificate of candidacy yesterday, and Senator Kiko Pangilinan filed his bid for the vice presidential race earlier this morning. And in his speech a while ago, Senator Kiko Pangilinan was quite emotional, saying that it was quite an honor for him to accept VP Robredo's offer for him as her running mate, and that he laid out his plans, his platforms, and his focus would be on helping out our farmers and ensuring food security in the country, especially during the time of the pandemic. Now, as you have mentioned a while ago, Charles, Senator Kiko Pangilinan said that he's supposed to run for the Senate, but he just had to heed the call of the Vice President to be her running mate. Vice President Leni Robredo said that she filed her bid for the presidency as an independent candidate so that they can keep lines open for possible unification with other candidates, and to keep their camps open for other potential senatorial bets who would want to join them, because she said that they don't want to limit it to just being the Liberal Party. And but although the unification talks have seemed to collapse already, the Vice President said that the lines are still open, but right now the focus is on unifying the voters. They said that the Vice President said that they are quite surprised by the reaction of the public yesterday, when the social media feeds turned pink, and even buildings in Metro Manila and other provinces also lit their facades pink last night. So it was quite overwhelming for them and quite surprising that they have this kind of reception. Now, the senatorial slate initially has Senator Risa Ontiveros, Senator Laila de Lima, and Senator Sonny Trillanes IV, but the other potential candidates will be announced next week. Now, Vice President Robredo also explained the choice of color pink. She said this is not really a departure from the yellow that is where the Liberal Party is most known for. But she said that the color yellow has been associated to the EDSA revolution, and now the fight is not really just about dictatorship, but the kind of governance that we are experiencing right now. So she also mentioned that pink is recognized as the color of protest nationwide, and that the choice of this color is based also on the clamor from the ground. So that's the latest here, Charles. We'll be back for more updates. Charles.
Thanks for that, and stay safe, Gerard. That was Gerard de la Peña reporting live from Quezon City. Time now for a quick look at some of today's headlines. The tandem of Vice President Leni Robredo and Senator Kiko Pangilinan for next year's polls is now official after Pangilinan filed his COC for Vice President earlier today. The trough of Tropical Depression Maring may continue to bring light to heavy rain over eastern Visayas. And after 11 years of construction, the Bicol International Airport is now ready to begin operations. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.